Uh, so, sir, I have been trying to share the document, but it's present on my laptop, and I don't know why I can't get it on my tab. Yeah, right. So see, first issue that we are going to talk. I'm going to divide today's class in two parts. First of all, we are going to talk about the uh, Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021. Why am I talking about it right now? I'm gonna be discussing about that also, and then we'll talk about the Manipur violence, and then the a minute. I'll just switch on my camera. Am I visible, everyone?
Yes, mom.
All right. So, see, first topic that I have already told you that I'm going to be discussing about the Surrogacy Regulation Act, and then I'm going to talk about the Manipur violence. So let's begin with the Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021. And also, when we are talking about the Surrogacy Regulation Act, one more act comes in, that is MTP Act of 1971. So anyone has any basic idea that what actually is surrogacy, or what actually is Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021?
Mom, could you repeat?
I'm just asking that, does anyone has any idea what actually surrogacy is?
I think surrogacy is when a person who's not able to conceive within themselves, they ask for another woman to conceive their child and give birth.
Uh, yeah, it's correct. Yeah. So when basically a couple is experiencing infertility, and right, as you mentioned, they are not able to conceive themselves, that is when the role of surrogacy comes in. And this particular surrogacy is regulated by Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021. So see, before all of this, uh, see, we can surrogacy has been in play in India since like a long time, but it was in the year 2021 that we started actually regulating it. So from the year 2002 to 2015, commercial surrogacy was allowed in India. Now we can basically divide the surrogacy into two parts. First of all, that is traditional surrogacy and gestational surrogacy. So see, in the traditional surrogacy में क्या होता है, the person जिसके who is going to be keeping the fetus in her womb, that person is known as surrogate mother. उसके एग्स यूज किए जाते हैं, एंड द फादर, द इंटेंडेड फादर, उसके स्पर्म यूज किए जाते हैं, दैट इज ट्रेडिशनल सरोगेसी. और जेस्टेशनल सरोगेसी में क्या होता है, जेस्टेशनल सरोगेसी में इट्स द स्पर्म ऑफ द इंटेंडेड फादर एंड इट्स द एग ऑफ द इंटेंडेड मदर. It's not the egg of the surrogate mother. Is the difference between traditional and gestational surrogacy clear? So in India, gestational surrogacy is allowed, and this gestational surrogacy is regulated by the Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021. Are we clear on that point?
Yes, mom.
All right. And then again, on the basis of what you provide to a surrogate mother, you can again divide surrogacy into altruistic surrogacy and then commercial surrogacy. So see, in the uh, if you could just wait for a minute, now I believe I would be able to share my screen. So if that's okay. All right, yeah, I'll just go ahead. Sorry, it's basically taking a lot of time, and a lot of time is going to get wasted. So, I believe I'll continue the class in the same way. Yeah, so I was talking about the traditional and the altruist surrogacy. So, in the altruist surrogacy, the surrogate mother, basically woman who is acting as the surrogate mother, she's not provided with the main idea behind her being the surrogate mother is not money, whereas in the commercial surrogacy the main idea that the particular woman is the surrogate is based on the idea of money. So see, all of this was being exploited, the international clients were coming in. So we know that the regulation and laws in India are not that strictly adhered to, and that was something that foreign nationals were taking the advantage of. And I believe a lot of people, a lot of you might have seen the movie Mimi. uh, have you?
Ma'am, could you repeat your voice? Actually, it's a little bit low.
See, I was telling you that on the basis of the kind of uh, incentive that you are providing to a woman, uh, you are providing her the commercial incentive or money incentive or not, you can basically divide the surrogacy into two parts: altruistic surrogacy and commercial surrogacy. So, altruistic surrogacy is when of a, the idea of a woman being surrogate mother is not based on that she's going to get some money. Money is not the consideration here, though she might be provided with all the when you become a surrogate mother, or you have that uh, all the physical pain basically you bear, or the emotional stress that you bear, you are basically provided the money for that particular thing, but the main idea behind you being a surrogate mother is not money. That is altruistic surrogacy. And when uh, somebody, what is this, your comment, what was that made, could you please expand? All right. So, and when you are talking about the commercial surrogacy, the main idea of a woman being a surrogate mother is the consideration for that particular money. And I was talking about how foreign nationals used to exploit the women in India through this commercial surrogacy. And that was when commercial surrogacy was basically, made illegal in India. That was what I was talking about. And then I was asking, have you seen that particular movie, Mimi?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, so if you have seen that movie, that movie basically talked about how foreign nationals exploited a woman, a not well-to-do woman. Obviously, she needed money in consideration, and then once she had that fetus in her womb, they basically said that we are not going to accept this particular baby. So there are provisions for that as well, that a surrogate woman can deny to basically go ahead with the procedure before a fetus is placed in their womb. First thing, and the second thing, that abortion can be done through MTP Act. Does anyone has any idea what actually is MTP Act? Anyone? So, all right, without wasting any time on it, before moving to the MTP Act, there are certain important features that you need to know about this particular surrogacy regulation act 2021. So see, this particular act सबसे पहले इसको इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था 2015 में. 2015 में इसको इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया, एंड इट वाज पास थ्रू लोकसभा इन 2018. पर उसके बाद बहुत सारे चेंजेस हुए, लॉट ऑफ कंसिडरेशंस वर मेड, राज्यसभा, एंड फाइनली द फाइनल असेंट वाज बेसिकली प्रोवाइडेड इन 2021. लोकसभा से दो इट वाज passed in the year 2018, but final assent was provided in the year 2021, and subsequently in the year 2022 we got these surrogacy regulation rules. There's this act that was introduced in 2021, and rules were in the year 2022. If that makes sense till here.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now as I've mentioned in my presentation, there are certain features that you need to know about, that who exactly can be a surrogate mother, uh, what are the uh, what are the conditions for a couple to basically go ahead with the surrogacy. So see, first of all, yeah, I have mentioned this, that the commercial surrogacy is illegal in India, and only surrogacy that is allowed in India is for altruistic purposes. Am I clear with that thing? Yeah, I got a thumbs up. So now, what are so what are the requirements for a couple to basically go ahead with surrogacy? So I'm going to be mentioning those conditions. Either you can note them down, or I have mentioned them in my document as well. So all your choice. So सबसे पहली चीज, the couple needs to be heterosexual. In India, a homosexual couple cannot go ahead with. Has someone raised their hand?
Yes, ma'am, you were asking what are the requirements of a couple to go through surrogacy, right?
Yeah, I'm just mentioning them, but if you have something to add, just go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So, first condition is that the couple needs to be heterosexual. In India, we do not allow live-in couples and homosexual couples to basically go ahead with the surrogacy procedure. Secondly, they should be married for like 5 साल हो गए होने चाहिए उस पर्टिकुलर कपल की शादी हुए हुए. And then we have that the age, जो intending couple, the couple that wants to go ahead with the surrogacy, उसमें wife की age should be between 25 to 50 years and husband की age should be between 26 to 55 years. Are we clear on this point? All right, I got a thumbs
Yes,
up. And
ma'am.
then one more condition is that the couple that is intending to go ahead with surrogacy, they should not have a baby already. They should not have a children already. So there is this exception to this particular provision ki agar if your the kid you have has certain kind of disability, in that particular the case, the couple is allowed to go ahead with surrogacy. But if you have a मतलब आपके पास एक अच्छा खासा ठीक particular contention around ki if in case a particular couple gets divorced, and they so this particular petition was also filed before the Supreme Court, जिसमें हुआ क्या था that the woman, the custody, sorry, are you trying to speak something in my background? uh, I don't, so see, there isn't any external uh, disturbance according to me. I'm like sitting in a room alone at my home. What can I possibly do about that? Uh, there are like so many issues. Can we compensate this class tomorrow with the presentation as well? Somebody is saying that my voice is clear. Can all the others please confirm? I believe people are saying that it's clear. Yeah, it's clear. So, yeah, because according to me, there's no external disturbance. Right. I'll just continue with where I was. Like, was anyone trying to speak something before that? All right. So, I was mentioning that there was this one particular petition that was filed before Supreme Court that uh, a woman had two children, but the custody, she was a divorced woman, and the custody was with the father. So in that case, she was asking that I want to go ahead with the surrogacy, but she wasn't allowed because she had two children. That was the case. And also, uh, the one the very recent petition that has been filed, where a single man is basically asking for asking Supreme Court that even you allow divorced women and single women to go ahead with surrogacy. So see, you need to be either married couple, 5 साल आपकी शादी को हो गए होने चाहिए. You can be a divorced woman or you can be a single woman to go ahead with surrogacy. Other than that, if you are a homosexual, you cannot go ahead with that. If you are in living relationship, you cannot go ahead with that. And if you are a single man, be it divorced or we, even if he's a divorced man, he cannot go ahead with surrogacy. So a very recent petition filed was that man was asking that even the single men should be allowed for surrogacy. Now see, the single woman and the divorced woman, those who can go ahead with surrogacy, have this time frame ki you can go ahead with surrogacy only in the time frame of the year 35 to 45. Whereas if there's this married couple, then the wife needs to be of age 25 to 50, and I have mentioned that already, that husband needs to be of age 26 to 55. If you are clear with that, I don't think we are done with the requirement for the couples to go ahead with the surrogacy. Any doubt in that?
No, ma'am.
All right, now I'm gonna go with that. अगर किसी को एक surrogate mother बनना है, so what are the conditions for that particular woman to be a surrogate mother? सबसे पहली चीज, the surrogate mother needs to be married, and the surrogate mother needs to be in close relationship with the couple who are intending to go ahead with the surrogacy. Like they need to be genetically related. Are we clear on this point? All right. Then the woman who wants to be a surrogate mother, she needs to have one kid, at least one kid of her own. And the age frame that we have for surrogate mother is 25 to 35 years. Are we clear on this point? And adding to that, there are two more conditions that just a minute, I'll just add two more conditions that a woman can be a surrogate mother only once throughout her life, and she needs to have this physical and mental fitness certificate by a certified doctors. Now go ahead with any doubt if you have.
No doubt.
All right. Then one more thing, that when the Regulation Act came in 2021 and the rules came out in 2022, there was this amendment that was made in 2023 that agar if you are going ahead with surrogacy, then the sperm needs to be of the person who wants to be for the father, and the egg needs to be of the woman who wants to be the mother. 2023 में कहा गया था that you cannot have a egg donor here, right? And again, it was amended in the year 2024 when a particular petition was filed by the woman who had this particular disease. So in the case of Arun, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So this particular woman who had the disease of a particular syndrome which basically made her infertile and she couldn't conceive. So she filed the petition before Supreme Court, and in the year 2024, Supreme Court finally allowed that egg donor, that in the case when you have a couple and one of them is is infertile, so you can have the egg donor in that particular case. But if both of them are infertile, then you cannot have the both sperms and egg. It's just the case that you can have egg donor if only one particular person is infertile. Are we clear on that point? All right. And if you have a single, now just tell the reasoning that I've mentioned, that in the case of couple, if only one particular person is infertile, then only the egg donor thing would be allowed, and if both are infertile, this won't be allowed. Like, you cannot have donated sperm and donated egg for that purpose. Now, just through this reasoning, just tell me, would a single woman, widowed or divorced woman, be allowed for this egg donor thing? Would she be allowed to have the uh, donor eggs? Just try to answer it, even if it's a pure guess. Like, that doesn't matter.
Could you just repeat the question?
See, I was mentioning that, like I said, that if a particular woman is, I was saying that if we have a couple and one of them is infertile, then this egg donor having a donated egg is allowed. Whereas if both the wife and husbands are infertile, this is not allowed. You are not allowed to like have the donated sperm as well as the donated egg. I just wanted to ask that if in the case of a divorced or widowed woman, would this be allowed? Just pure guess would be appreciated, even if it's just a pure guess. No, if the woman is like divorced or the widowed woman, she won't be allowed to have this egg donor thing. She won't be allowed. Are we clear till here? And then there is one particular provision left, that that abortion can only be done if the woman consents to that, and the medical practitioners require that. If it's necessary, then only the abortion can be done, and this particular abortion thing is then regulated through the Medical Termination Act 1971. If you have any idea about that. Just try to answer it, and see, I was asking that do you have any idea about Medical Termination of Pregnancy Regulation Act 1971?
Yes, ma'am, I'm aware of the MPT Act.
Yeah. So, what's the like highest time till when you can seek the termination of pregnancy?
Ma'am, I think it's 32 weeks. That was the largest exception that was made for a woman.
So yeah, see, as per
It's
the act,
24 weeks, right?
yeah,
24
it's
weeks.
24 weeks. If you have the consultation, like you need to have the assent of two medical practitioners, RMPs, then it's 24 weeks. But then we have the exception that if it's a rape survivor and if you have fetal abnormalities, so in that case, you need to approach the Supreme Court or the High Court, and if they allow, then you are then the pregnancy can be terminated even after the time frame of 24 weeks. Are we clear on that point?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think it got terminated at 31 weeks and 32 weeks for a woman because I think the child had a syndrome in which excessive fluid was filled inside the brain.
Yeah, so that come in fetal abnormalities. I mentioned that. See, as per the act, you first of all see. अगर 20 weeks तक का time है, then you need to have the permission of one RMP. If you have the pregnancy till 24 weeks, if it exceeds 20 weeks but it's still below 24 weeks, then you need to have the permission of two RMPs. But if it exceeds 24 weeks, then the pregnancy termination is allowed only in two cases: when the woman is rape survivor or the fetus has certain kind of abnormalities. Like you mentioned that the fetus was filled with some kind of fluid. That was that something you mentioned, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that comes under the exception of fetal abnormalities. These are the two conditions need to approach the Supreme Court or the High Court, and if they allow, then only you can go ahead with the termination of the pregnancy. And these are the two exceptions. And it can, like you also mentioned, it can go up to the week of 32 weeks, because imagine a rape survivor who is just like 12 years old. How is she possibly gonna conceive a child? She's trying it herself. It's gonna result in emotional as well as physical damage to her. So these are the cases when Supreme Court just allows that. In the case of fetal abnormalities, there's no point in a child being born uh, who wouldn't have any quality of life, right? That would be a problem for the parents as well, and that the children that is being born, that would be a problem for him as well. He wouldn't basically have any quality of life if that particular kind of child is being born. Are we clear till here?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So see, the MTP Act of 2021 जो है उसमें 20 weeks का और 24 weeks का time frame है. पहले ये था MTP Act 1971 और इसको 2021 में चेंज कर दिया गया था. मेजर चेंजेस वर रिगार्डिंग द टाइम फ्रेम. जो MTP Act 1971 था उसमें टाइम फ्रेम वाज लाइक if you are 12 weeks pregnant and you need your pregnancy to be terminated, then you need the permission of like one RMP. And then if you are between the time period of 12 weeks to 20 weeks, then you needed the permission of two RMPs. This was basically changed, and in 2021 it was made that if you are like till 20-week pregnant, you need to have permission of one RMP, and if you are 24-week pregnant, you need to have the permission of two RMPs. Also 1971 may the couple needs to be a married couple. 2021 may there was some kind of uh, what do I say, like we are more moving towards a modern time, and in 2021 even the unmarried couples were even if the woman is unmarried, then also she can seek the termination of pregnancy. These were some basic difference. Are we clear till here?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I believe that I'll just mention one more points about the Surrogacy Act. See, though the fetus is in the surrogate mother's uh, womb, but the right that child holds is the surrogate mother basically doesn't has any right over that particular child. As soon as that child is born, all the rights rest with the surrogate couple, and the rights that particular child would have would be same as the naturally born to that particular couple. Are we clear on that
Yes,
point?
ma'am.
All right. And then just last point, that under this particular act, there needs to be formation of national surrogacy board and state surrogacy board. इनका मेजरली काम क्या होता है कि जितने भी surrogacy clinics होते हैं, इनको basically registration वगैरह provide करते हैं, इनकी workings को they look after the workings, and the national surrogacy board comes up with the new suggestions that can be basically implemented to make this particular act more working kind of act, right? Are we clear with the Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021? And
Yes,
why is it
ma'am.
important? Because see, maybe like just some days back, a person has filed the petition in Supreme Court asking that even the single men should be allowed to go ahead with the surrogacy, because you have allowed the divorced and widowed women, if they are between the age of 35 to 45 years, to go ahead with surrogacy. So why this kind of gender discrimination? That was the particular petition that was filed, and it's like very recent. If you are good with that, I'll move to the Manipur violence. I believe somebody has come up with a doubt. Uh, if the parents of the surrogate child die before he takes birth. So see, there's no particular provision that has been mentioned here, and as far as I know, there has been no such case as well. But if such case happens, the government or Supreme Court would surely come up with something. And as far as my knowledge goes, that particular child would not surely be aborted, but he would be provided some parents to take care of, right? Uh, yeah. So just a minute, and we'll start with the Manipur violence. So do you have any idea that who is off-topic doubt? Can we just take that like once I'm done with the Manipur violence thing, or just go ahead with that? Uh, just ask it. Till then, do you have any idea who is the CM of Manipur right now?
Ma'am, is it Nongtambam Biren Singh?
Right. So it was meant to be that kind of question. So yeah, we do not have any CM right now, and also this particular topic is very much related. Like yesterday, news mentioned that basically the ministers of Manipur have written to president that the popular party or the popular government should be installed. Has anybody read about that particular news?
No, ma'am.
Anyone else? So right. So that's why this particular issue gets important again. And other than that, in February, the CM of Manipur, N. Biren, who was from the ruling party BJP, resigned at a time when the opposition, basically Congress, was planning to go ahead with the non-confidence motion, but before that could be introduced in the state legislative assembly, he basically resigned himself. So in the like once the CM resigned, just after that, just 4 days after that, president rule was imposed in the state of Manipur. Uh, through which article can somebody tell is the president rule specifically imposed? Yeah, article 356, and through which article emergency is imposed, emergency and financial emergency. Yeah, emergency is imposed through article 352, and financial emergency is introduced through article 360. So see, the duration of president's rule can basically be 6 months, but if you get that president rule ratified the uh, ratified in the Lok Sabha, like after every 6 months, then it can go up till the time of 3 years. Are we good on that point? Anyone?
Ma'am, could you repeat the question?
Oh, it wasn't a question. I was just asking that the president rule can be imposed for the duration of 6 months, and if you do not, if you want to continue it further, you get it ratified in Lok Sabha like after every 6 months, and it can go maximum up to the time of 3 years. I was asking like, are we good on this point? So I'll just move on to what actually was the issue in Manipur. All right. So any idea that what was the main issue in Manipur? Why all this violence took place?
Ma'am, I think it's because of ethnic conflicts at the end of Manipur.
Yeah. So, do you know the details? Because I'll be moving on to the details that what exactly were these ethnic violences. Yeah, correct. That communal tensions between Kuki and Mithai over the reservation thing. Yeah. Are you aware of the details? So, I believe one person is aware about the details. And also, please tell me that are you aware about the inner permit line? And there was one more thing. So, just tell me that are you aware about what exactly is inner permit line and free movement? Uh, inner
No,
permit
ma'am.
line and free movement regime. Anyone here?
Not aware, ma'am.
All right. So I'll be talking about that as well. So I'll just try to make it quick because we don't have much time left. So see, uh, first of all, I'm just gonna take up the facts briefly because I believe a lot of people here. So yeah, no, all right. A lot of people here are aware, and if you are not, I have just mentioned all the details in my presentation. If you go through them once, you'll just get them. But still, just for the sake of going through it once, see, there's this particular tribe, Kuki tribe, and Mithai community. So first, let's establish the fact that most of the Mithai community belong to the Hindu religion, and most of the Kuki tribe belong to the Christian Christian religion. Are we good on that point?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Then see, if you look at Manipur, it looks somewhat like a football ground where we have the Imphal Valley, then we have hills surrounded by it. So Imphal Valley is basically 10% of the geographical area of the Manipur that we have, but usme 64% of the population is residing, and mainly that population is Mithai community. Whereas in hills, we have hills we have like 90% of geographic we have belongs to hills, and we just have like 35% tribes living in the hills. Are we good on that?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is basically the demographic division of the Manipur. And yeah, I got a thumbs up, thank you. So see, the main point here was कि जब मणिपुर का decision आया, so since last 10 years Mithai community has been demanding that we should be provided ST reservation. And in when this particular conflict arose suddenly, Manipur High Court ने basically क्या कहा था that we'll be providing you with this particular uh, uh, reservation. And also Mithai community की जो language है, that is like through 8th schedule in the constitution, we have certain uh, languages that are basically called reserved languages, and Mithai community ki jo language hai, that is one of them in the 8th schedule of the Indian constitution, right? Am I right? Just thumbs up for work.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Then see, सबसे पहले the problem that कुकी had were मतलब कुकी लोगों को क्या ही दिक्कत होगी that why are you providing them with the ST reservation. The problem that they had was that they belong to Hindu community first of all. Ruling party here was BJP, so they basically felt that they are being provided already the undue advantage, और and जो state का budget है वो mostly इनके welfare में ही जा रहा है. That was the main one of the main contentions raised by the Kuki tribe, right? Also, they said that if you're a lot of population of Mithai community are already provided with the reservation of OBC. अगर इन लोगों को ST reservation भी मिल जाएगा, then almost most of the job opportunities are gonna go with the Mithai community itself. And also, they have this particular main area in the state. They reside in the main plains. That was something that Kuki community said. Mithai community का main वो था. Yeah, I would quote some facts here that जब 1951 में मणिपुर became state in 1972, right? और 1951 में 59% ऑफ जो पॉपुलेशन थी मणिपुर की दैट बिलोंग टू मिथई कम्युनिटी, जबकि 2011 में जो सेंसस हुआ था दैट वी आल्सो टॉक अबाउट दैट इट वाज अ एससीसी सेंसस, राइट? वी टॉक्ड अबाउट दैट इन द प्रीवियस क्लास. If you are looking at the PPTs that I'm sharing, did anyone here attend the previous class where we talked about the caste census thing? And we
Yes,
talked
ma'am.
about, yeah, that 2011 was SECC census. So the population that you can see कि 1951 में 95% population हम लोगों की थी, मिथई community की थी, जबकि 2011 में जो census हुआ कितनी population रहेगी? We are just left with 44% population. So मिथई community here said कि 2021 में हमें पता है म्यांमार में there was a military coup. Aung San Suu Kyi was basically removed and army rule was installed, right? So a lot of people moved towards India and Bangladesh. तो मिथई कम्युनिटी का मेन यहाँ पर ये था कि the free movement regime that you have, I'm going to explain what free movement regime is. Uske through a lot of outsiders are moving into our state, and we, the original people of this particular state, we are the one कि हम लोग माइनॉरिटी में रह जाएंगे और ये जो लोग बाहर से आ रहे हैं they will get into the majority, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that was the main thing that मिथई community basically had problem with. उसके साथ उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि the Kuki community they can basically purchase the land in the Imphal Valley that we have, but हमें allowed नहीं है that we can purchase land in the hills, right? So these were the different contentions that were raised by the Kuki community and the Mithai community. Kuki community was basically like कि हम तो already we are in minority, and the Mithai community was like कि हम पहले we are the original people of here, and these tribal peoples or the outsider peoples are just coming from the countries like Myanmar, और हम जो original people है we are gonna reach minority in our own state, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So with that, I'll move to what is inner permit line. और see, inner permit line is basically जब किसी एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेट में इनर परमिट लाइन लगती है, it basically requires कि even if forget about the people who are visiting from outside India, even if किसी और स्टेट के इंसान को भी अगर उस पर्टिकुलर स्टेट में आना है, they will have to seek the permission from state government, right? This is something that inner permit line requires. Are we clear on that? And also मणिपुर में 2019 में ये इनर परमिट लाइन लगाई गई थी, and it was the fourth state जिसमें इनर परमिट लाइन लगी थी. इससे पहले take a note, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland and Mizoram. This is something that I have not mentioned in my presentation, so just take a note of it कि inner permit line मणिपुर में 2019 में लगी थी. It was the fourth state. इससे पहले अरुणाचल प्रदेश, मिजोरम और नागालैंड में ये inner permit line लगी थी, and I have already told you the meaning of that. And there was this particular it was the article of February that I was reading. उसमें कहा गया था that through this inner permit line, obviously that if you are visiting these particular states, you need the permission of state government and you need to pay certain amount as well. So the before resigning, the CM N. Biren was mentioning in one of his statements that through this inner permit line that has been in place in Manipur since 2019, we have gained the revenue of like 14 to 15 crores. So it proved out really good for that particular state. Are we clear about that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now I move to what is free movement regime. So see, सबसे पहले ये 1968 में आया था. So we share the boundary that we share with Myanmar is around like 1648 kilometers. That is the boundary that we share with Myanmar. And I told you that the main contention that Mithai community was raising, that a lot of people have migrated to our state after the 2021 coup of the Myanmar, right? Right? Yeah. सो जो फ्री मूवमेंट रिजीम का मतलब होता है कि जैसे म्यांमार और इंडिया का जो बॉर्डर है उसके आसपास में जो लोग रह रहे हैं, दे कैन बेसिकली मूव विदाउट वीजा, and they can be like the people may belong to India or to Myanmar, and the people of hills could basically move through these borders without any visa. Am I making some sense? Anyone?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Alright, जो ये फ्री मूवमेंट रिजीम का एरिया होता है, सो सी फर्स्टली इट वाज कि 40 किलोमीटर्स का जो भी इंडिया और म्यांमार का बॉर्डर है, इसमें जितने भी लोग हैं, सॉरी, इसमें जितने भी लोग हैं, दे कैन फ्रीली मूव थ्रू आउट द बॉर्डर्स विदाउट वीजा. फर्स्टली इट वाज 40 किलोमीटर्स, पर 2004 में थोड़े चेंजेस किए गए एंड इट वाज मेड 16 किलोमीटर्स, राइट? राइट.
Yes, ma'am.
और इसके मेन प्रोविजंस होते हैं कि once you visit a particular, if you are moving towards the other side of border, you can stay for the duration of 2 weeks per visit. That is one particular provision. And now see, when all of this was taking place, so it was being mentioned even by the state government that जितनी भी ये बाहर से migration हो रही है, that is something that is leading to the peace, internal peace disturbance in our state. So it is being said कि जो free movement regime है, so see, I mentioned कि ये 1968 में start हुआ था, पर formally ये इंडिया और म्यांमार के बीच में 2018 में start हुआ था as a policy of India, जिसमें that is known as Act East policy. You might be knowing about it. It's somewhat related to SARC. India tried, so we always know there is this power conflict between India and China in the South China Sea, or even in the southeastern countries. So looking at all of that, all the power conflicts that India, China, and US have. So India has this policy of Act East policy. इसके through 2018 में formally this free movement regime was introduced, and now it when all this disturbance happened in Manipur, so the central government mentioned that we are gonna scrap this particular free movement regime. Are we clear with that?
Yes, ma'am.
So that was it. And then so my main motive here was to talk about free movement regime and inner permit line, and get you some basic idea about what exactly was the Manipur violence about. Then I have talked a bit about, yeah, just one or two more facts. See, मणिपुर फोर्थ ऐसी स्टेट है जिसमें सबसे ज्यादा टाइम तक प्रेसिडेंट का रूल रहा है. जस्ट अ मिनट. या और अभी इट वाज द 11th टाइम कि मणिपुर में प्रेसिडेंट रूल लग रहा है. ठीक है, सबसे पहले ये सबसे पहली स्टेट जो प्रेसिडेंट रूल के अंदर आई थी, दैट वी नो फॉर श्योर, इज पंजाब 1951 में. एंड देन आई मेंशन कि ये फोर्थ ऐसी स्टेट है जो सबसे ज्यादा टाइम के लिए प्रेसिडेंट रूल के अंडर रही है. So, which is the first state? Jammu and Kashmir for sure, and then we have Punjab, and then we have Puducherry. Jammu and Kashmir 15 years के लिए president rule के अंदर रहा है. Then we have Punjab. Punjab, it's just somewhat near 10 to 11 years, and Puducherry is 7 years. That was some information that I've mentioned in my my PPT. And I think we are done for today. If you have any doubts, just go ahead with that. And then, yeah, just go ahead with that.